Our next speaker you'll recognize from our opening remarks. He's the acting mayor of Thunder Bay, Canada. He's a certified management accountant and a consulting CMA with over 26 years of experience in business, economic development, marketing, management, labor, and politics. He has a master's of business administration from Lakehead University and has been a councillor for the city of Thunder Bay for over 10 years. Please welcome Frank Pullia.
Thank you for the introduction. And thank you, Patricia, for having placed in context the important role that smart cities will have in the future in terms of delivering the solutions the higher orders of government, when they come at the table with us, want to see. So, and be able to measure that on a equal basis, especially from the point of view of investment, is crucial. So I appreciate your message. My presentation today speaks to the Smart Cities Challenge application that was made by the City of Thunder Bay to Infrastructure Canada about working together to keep our cities safe. I hope I can bring you some examples on how collaboration can move a city forward in not only keeping its citizens safe, but also helping marginalized groups come together with different organizations, with government, with grassroots approaches to finding positive solutions to some challenging problems. The problems that we had in Thunder Bay are challenging because we cover a geographical dispersion, a huge geographical map that is the size probably of the country of France, just north of Western Ontario alone. And Thunder Bay being the largest municipality in north of Western Ontario, we are the service center where many people from smaller communities and from First Nation communities come for services. And a population of 109,000 people, over around 12% of are Indigenous people. Most of those are urban Indigenous people. Many, though, come to Thunder Bay for services. Many youth who don't have the opportunity to be educated in a smaller First Nation community come to Thunder Bay to school. And unfortunately, when you come to a new environment where you haven't had the opportunity to experience more of the urban setting, some of those youth have had unfortunate tragedies and incidents where, for a host of reasons that we'll talk about in some of the next slides, we have had some of them dying under tragic circumstances. Some of you who live in Toronto or across the country may have seen some media coverage to what is happening in Thunder Bay. And it's not flattering. We acknowledge that there are issues there. But we also wanted to take this opportunity through this application to also show how so many organizations are coming together to find solutions. And technology is, to some extent, I hope, and I think it looks like it's coming together nicely, enabling us to find those solutions. Again, in my comments before, I was saying that smart cities and technology have to have the focus on the concept of people-centric technology. And you'll see in my next slide how the technology comes together in serving the needs of a marginalized group in difficult circumstances, and how not only the City of Thunder Bay, but the Fort First Nation, the Thunder Bay Police Services Board, Thunder Bay Telephone, which is the city-owned telecommunication company. We're fortunate in that regard that we own our telecommunication company, 450 employees. Deployment of 5G technology and fiber optics is already happening throughout the community. within 5 years, we'll have 90% of our households will be fully connected to fiber optics. This opens up all kinds of new opportunities that were not available to us before. The investment from the federal government in the remote areas with the internet connection also allows a whole new dimension of opportunities to open up. We also own our ThunderBay Hydro, and so we were able to bring all these organizations together, including community partners, to focus on two clear goals: create a safer city for Indigenous youth and become an inclusive city where Indigenous youth can fully participate in the life of our city with a strong sense of well-being and belonging. Those are things that technology alone cannot bring, but technology is an enabler. And an enabler in the sense of bringing people together. I will explain later how. And a lot of the coming together has to do with integration. But in order to integrate technology, you have to integrate the vision, you have to integrate the people, you have to integrate how they want to be part of the solution, what's their role when they come to the table. It's not a solution that is imposed from the top down, it's a solution that includes people and fully engaging our citizens, especially those who still feel that they're marginalized. The proposal of the Smart City Challenge initiative is based on a demonstrated formal commitment signed in recent years. I don't expect you to read through that. I put that up there to show that so much work has already been done over the years. And it's coming together in a formal way, in a cohesive way, to find solutions that work and that can bring ThunderBay fast forward towards a better future for all its citizens. So, how do we do that? What are the project's key elements? Because we have now full integration, everybody's committed. How are we going to make that happen? There are seven components of the Smart Cities initiative. The first one is to use enablement technology, integrated smart city technology, and by providing a network infrastructure. We're able to do this, I believe, I'm very positive on that, because we own the telecommunication companies, so they can fully deploy the backbone of a fully integrated system. Some of this is location-based. Most of the incidents that have happened along waterways. ThunderBay is a beautiful city. We have beautiful natural setting. The National Geographic designated our region as one of the top 24 most beautiful regions of natural beauty anywhere in the world. So people congregate along the riverways, and there's like 14 plus kilometers. And unfortunately, due to some of the the indigenous people that come to ThunderBay, some of them come in for services, and they have now disproportionate experience of risk factors that resulted in high rates of victimization and overrepresentation in the criminal justice system. 5 of the 7 youths that were covered, the deaths that were covered under the chief coroner inquest, died in the waterways. That is why the focus along the waterways. We need to prevent, find solution, but again, that's only part of it. So we're going to build a backbone through our own telecommunication company and provide the fully integrated system and service through the Public Safety Command Center. The police, ThunderBay Police, Fire, and EMS, the first responders have to be part of this. In the last year alone, there were 459 reported incidents where the police and fire had to intervene and to help people who had fallen into the water, where alcohol in most cases is a component of that. So the command center, by using technology, will be able to track and identify activities through different sensors, through intelligence, video surveillance, and that, like, you know, again, those are being developed as we speak. I'm not the technology guy. I'm presenting you the concept. So if I will not go into a lot of detail about what the technology does, other than we're using the intelligence video surveillance to basically track movements and be able to communicate quickly to first responders when something is happening. The idea is to be able to prevent. If a lot of people are congregated in an area, risk area, where incidents have occurred in the past, we'll be able to place additional emphasis on that, all while maintaining privacy protocols, because there's always this concept of big brothers watching. But again, you gotta find that balance when you wanna keep people safe while maintaining their privacy. So in terms of the role of technology in ensuring public safety, there's investment in surveillance, also big data analytics, because all this information is being collected, has to be sorted. Again, data is only part of it. What kind of intelligence can you get from the data? How is it being used? At the end of the day, whatever we collect has to allow for better outcomes. Otherwise, it's just data, just an accumulation of information. And mobile and network technology will provide a flexibility and rapid response that will provide better utilization of public spaces. For example, just putting smart lights, and smart light is only part of the next part. Smart pole technology, smart lights. When I walked along those waterways, and they're cut right across the city by the college, by the university, just beautiful settings, I'm gonna use it even more. And by having the right lighting and knowing that there's technology there that is enabling people to feel safer, it will allow people to use it more. So this is the positive thing. It's not only reducing crime or reducing safety in a risk area, but also allowing people to feel safer, to use it more. It's a gathering of people. Now we reach both sides, being proactive and being fast responding quickly to a high-risk area. The Public Safety Command Center will be staffed by people who will provide live coverage as determined by police data. It's not like you're gonna have watching people 24/7. It's all using analytics, predictive analytics, to know where the risk areas are and then staff it accordingly. And the real-time detection where there is a risk will enable people to respond much faster as well. The smart LED motion activated lighting, for example, it adjusts through sensors. So if you're walking in an area there is risk, there's gonna be more light, or the light can also change color. If you're having an event, you wanna bring people out, so it provides a nice settings. So the idea is to also provide enhanced beauty in already natural setting, especially when you're having a get-together of people in specific areas. You can adjust that. And the smart poles is something that I was really intrigued when I read through the application, because poles is not just carrying electrical wires. Now the smart poles provide a whole host of other opportunities. They're modular systems that provide the city with the flexibility to adapt to different requirements. You can call for assistance. If you're walking by, the poles will have a push button, like have so much distance between them, and there'll be more of them in risk areas. So someone can just push a button for alert. We'll tell the command center the exact location through the use of emergency call buttons. Motions and environmental sensors can also activate the lighting, all integrated, and adjust the intensity of the light for security purposes. There'll be public Wi-Fi for internet connections. You can also plug in your mobile device and charge it. Because these areas are being used a lot, They'll also be able to have Wi-Fi and connect to the internet. So, for example, in the public engagement part, when we talked to youth, they told us that they felt disconnected from their communities. For them, they don't have enough money to have a data plan, so being connected through internet connectivity and free connectivity is crucial to them so that they could talk to their friends or in real time talk to their families or be alerted when there is a specific event happening, that, you know, the positive part of the technology. Say there's a gathering, there's a music tonight, there's a rock band, or there's a festival, you know, just to let them know that there's things that they enjoy. And so the smart pole integrates all of that. And again, that's the technology. But how do we know what we need to provide? And that's where the people-centric concept comes in, because through consultation with the youth, we were able to find out what their needs are. Where are your needs? Where are the issues here? We want to be proactive, use the technology to, like a predictive, it's not even predictive behavior, but be able to, because at the end of the day, you can spend millions of dollars and have the smart city technology not achieving the goals that you want. And that's where the measuring the data comes in. That, you know, how do you measure success? And I like the idea that people are watching to know where they need to invest. People from around the world that want to invest in progressive cities. That's where the solutions are. That's where the consumers are using the goods and services. So smart city concept has a huge role in the future of our economies. And in many ways, you know, in our case of ThunderBay, for a specific need of safety for our youth, a safety for the whole population, is something that can be transferable to other communities. And that's the part of the application that I know that Infrastructure Canada looks at. They're not going to invest money into a city where then you're the only ones who are going to benefit from that technology. It has to be transferable. It has to be scalable, transferable, and we believe this is. So youth were engaged to provide their specific needs and requirements for a more fulfilling life, to feel that like they're part of the community. And that's huge, because if you feel disengaged, and you feel marginalized, and you don't feel like you're part of it, it creates a feeling of loneliness. You're gonna hang out the wrong people. You're gonna start, you know, overusing. There's a mental stress, mental issues, and some addiction problems now emerging across the country, North America, and the world. And I think those feelings of isolation do not help. So this covers a whole host of other social determinants of health. Again, technology for good. And that's what this application is all about. The city will work with Indigenous educational councils, First Nation communities, through the integration of these apps. At the end of the day, if that's the group that we want to help the most, our community in general will benefit. But we need to work with those that we're trying to reach. And they're all at the table. In my last slide, you will see that the comments by our mayor and the Chief Peter Collins from Fort William First Nation, who live on the traditional territory of the Ojibwe people, signatory to the Robinson Treaty area, agreement of 1854. And we live in a beautiful area. And Chief Dinah Kanate, Chief of North Caribou Lake First Nation, her comments at the end. Some of the youth who died in unfortunate circumstances came from her First Nation community. I had the pleasure of meeting with the chief a few times already. Actually, a couple of days ago we were speaking and talking about this, and she knew I was coming here, so if she's watching, hello Chief Dinah. And how collaboration, integration, and it's not us and them, it's all of us together. And technology, from that perspective, is a great tool, is a great enabler to bring people together for a common good. There are many people who are afraid of technology. We know some of the privacy issues with Facebook and other, Google's and the whole digital media environment has been going through some, I guess, challenging times from their perspective, but it was predictable at some point. There has to be a tipping point. And hopefully we are all learning from those and use the technology in a way that protects the privacy of the individual, our families, our community members, the citizens, while doing what it's supposed to do, bring people together for a common good, for positive outcomes. So thank you for your attention. This is our application to Infrastructure Canada, and I appreciate the opportunity to explain some of our challenges, but also optimism for the future. And if you have any questions, we have a couple of minutes left. I'll be happy to answer those. Thank you. Any questions? Okay, I'll be around if you want to talk one-on-one. There'll be plenty of time today to do that. Again, I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.